Blogger. For the latest news and conflicts around the world, shaping your reality.
Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of West Coast Mail Blogger. I'm your host, Cyrus Emerson. From A to Z is excited to announce the release of the Applegate Trail of 1846 on audiobook. My dad published this book in 1996 on the 150th anniversary of the first wagon train that stopped in Ashland, Oregon, where he lived and spent time on a local historical committee. Adam J. Smith, recently a cast member of Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Parts 1 and 2, available now on Netflix, narrates the story of these pioneers trailblazing into unincorporated regions of the United States before the Civil War. He sounds like a younger David McCullough, who narrated the 1990s Civil War series on PBS, created by Ken Burns. There's more on where to get a hooded sweatshirt like the one I'm wearing, and a special promo for the Applegate Trail of 1846 audiobook after our AI correspondents report on Year of the Dragon, VP Debate Impact, and No Green Machine.
Year of the Dragon. Nearly 1 year after the Hamas attack on Israel, killing more than 1,200 Jews with more than 250 international hostages taken. After the deaths of more than 40,000 Palestinians in response, share how this conflict is shaping the front line of World War III. West Coast Mill Blogger now reporting that World War III has already started. America now in the same position as pre-Pearl Harbor attack in the early 1940s. Citizens here hear from afar reports of battles in Ukraine where Russians advance in the east. Meanwhile, a chess match takes place in Kursk after the Olympic invasion. College students press for Palestine support. Jewish donors along with leading academic scholars resign from the board. As WCM has reported before, Israel and Russia seem to be partners in aggression. However, this last week Israeli warplanes hit a Russian airbase in Syria. Many have noticed how this attack didn't meet with Kremlin propaganda. There was no need of US approval. The world doesn't fear nuclear annihilation. This relationship between Israel and Russia runs as deep as Israel and America. While the US exchanges money, Russia exchanges secrets, Mossad and KGB hunting down Nazis. Now a war with Iran, propaganda reminiscent of post-9/11 calls to strike Iraq because of weapons of mass destruction. One never knows until it's too late if the Ayatollah can make a nuclear weapon. While one already knows Russians supplied GPS jammers that might have crashed a helicopter carrying Iran's president and foreign minister a couple of months ago.
VP Debate Impact. With 30 days until the 2024 election, explain the campaigns moving forward after the vice president debate earlier this week on CBS, accused of liberal bias. While it's been mentioned on various sites that J.D. Vance got fact-checked after moderators agreed to let candidates say whatever, it didn't seem to hurt him as much as it did Trump when debating against Harris. Many say Vance sells MAGA better. Many say they'd rather have Vance as president over Trump and Harris. Yet West Coast Mill Blogger finds him unrelatable even with the Applegate Trail of 1846 audiobook being released, with most people thinking of Hillbilly Elegy also available on audiobook. While the real-life characters in these two books might have identified with each other, their ancestors underwent Darwinism in isolated locations, this separation creating differences. Many must be reminded Waltz is the governor of Minnesota. He almost seemed too down to earth. If he was a stoner, one might be tempted to jump on board. Only everyone knows that's not the cause of his apparent daftness when on stage with Vance. Harris seems absent, as she must respond to a recent deadly storm in red states, with Biden focusing everything he has left on the complicated mess of deciphering friends from foes in Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Middle East, China, India, Brazil, South Africa, and Taiwan. Still, it's easy to get excited with Elon Musk's spaceships on the verge of colonizing the red planet, even when the real red tide finds defeat in college football, and ballot boxes are a month away.
No Green Machine. While both candidates say a lot about the future, explain why West Coast Mill Blogger continues to not vote, remain independent, and expects failure no matter who wins. It would be easy to break this down into two issues, abortion and border wall, Much like the Super Bowl, these perennial favorites have won their respective parties' favor to represent on the national scene. Yet West Coast Mill Blogger, as a From A to Z product, continues to protect the stance of the hemp revolution. One never hears about the hemp production in Asheville, North Carolina, now fighting to remain afloat in floodwaters. From the perspective of this content, people could rebuild with hempcrete using 3D printers faster and stronger than current construction methods while continuing to employ locally. WCM understands Spill Be Gone and Drill Wall hemp products can help expanding oil production cause less environmental harm, even as both sides of the aisle pursue fossil fuel energy increases. Even at the reopening of 3 Mile Island, a hemp crop can absorb isotopes. Once again, the crowning achievement of Henry Baer's hemp solution vision remains elusive as screenplay production halts on the Lords of Hemp, while it becomes easier to cultivate an audience with short popular videos online. In the end, there's no current solution to climate change other than controlled mass extinction, unless political will allows research and development into environment-saving hemp products.
From A to Z merch.
You've waited this whole video to find out how to get your own Applegate Trail hooded sweatshirt like the one I'm wearing. Now your reward. Just search for From A to Z merch and find the pop-up store on Printify. That's where you can get the latest product offerings from our parent company. Now, on formats where available, this special presentation of the Applegate Trail of 1846 promo now airing on YouTube and Rumble.
The Applegate Trail of 1846, a documentary guide to the original Southern emigrant route to Oregon. Written by William Emerson. Narrated by Adam J. Smith. This book describes all the events that happened on the first wagon train to take the new southern route to Oregon. This trail was established in 1846 as a cutoff from the Oregon Trail to avoid the dangers of rafting the rapids on the Columbia River. Additionally, it provided an alternate route for American emigrants to enter Oregon in case there was a war with Britain. The Applegate Trail used the established California Trail from the Oregon Trail near Fort Hall, Idaho, through Utah and Nevada to a cutoff on the Humboldt River. From the cutoff, the first wagon train of 90 to 100 wagons traveled northwest through Nevada, California, and into southern Oregon toward the Willamette Valley.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of West Coast Mill Blogger. Remember to subscribe, like, and share on the many platforms this show is now available on. Keep it safe out there, and see you next week.